Hi, this is a WeaKnees video about installing an external hard drive kit on a TiVo Bolt. We do have another video that answers the question of should you choose an internal or an external hard drive kit for your TiVo Bolt. In short, at WeaKnees we recommend the external hard drive solution, which is this one. So if you've ordered an external hard drive, you'll receive from us this external hard drive here, along with a power adapter that's not pictured, and also a little stand in case you want to sit that thing up on its side. And you also receive this pouch full of parts. So here are the parts inside that pouch. You've got this custom cable that we had built for this purpose specifically that helps route your hard drive outside the unit. Here's an extender cable in case you want to put the external hard drive further from your bolt. You've got some tools over here that you use to install this kit. You've got instructions. They're printed instructions and they do have pictures. And then you've got 2 zip ties. In addition, you'll get either this black case component or this white case component, depending on whether your TiVo is black or white. So here's a TiVo Bolt that we're going to upgrade. First thing we're going to do is flip the unit over, and we're going to remove the cable card cover. If you have a cable card in the unit, that's totally fine. Just leave it there. You do not need to take it out for this upgrade. Then you're going to use probably your Torx T10, sometimes it's a Torx T8, to remove these 2 screws. And one tip that we have for you is when you're removing all these screws, you can use that cable card cover that we just removed to store all the screws. In fact, it's got dividers there so you can keep the screws in different sections so you can put them back more easily. All right, the next screw to remove is definitely going to be a T8, and it's the little screw right above the HDMI port. Okay, once you've got the HDMI screw removed, the next step is to remove that small side cover. And we do that here with a spudger. It's a thin piece of metal that basically gets in the space between the side cover and the base of the unit. Kind of pry apart there. If you don't have one of those, you could use a flathead screwdriver. And actually, if you just use your fingers, it's a little tougher, but you can even do it with just your fingers. So once you get that cleared around the edges there, then you can kind of snap up on that piece. And just for reference, the piece we're removing is this piece here that we're going to replace. You'll see there are some small tabs inside there. Sometimes they break off here. One of them broke off removing this. There are 3 still in place. If you break 1 or 2 off, or frankly even all 4 off, it doesn't matter if you're doing an external drive because our replacement part hasn't built in. You're all set. And if you were going to put that part back on anyway, it would still sit just fine without all 4 of those tabs. All right, then we have 3 Torx screws to remove. These are most likely T10s, but on some units they're actually T8s. And we're going to stick them all over here on our cover. And once we get those 3 off, we're going to put the unit back up on its edge, the front edge, and use that spudger again and try to find this spot right between the power outlet and where the fan is. This is a good spot to pry off the rest of the unit. So once you get that loose, you can kind of pry it up with your fingers or use your screwdriver or spudger, and largely the rest of this whole lid's going to pop right off. Okay. Inside the unit, in this unit, there's a 3 terabyte drive sitting right there. There's no wire on top of it. If you had a white unit, you would actually have a wire going across the top of the hard drive. So you'll need to remember to carefully pull that unit out of the tabs. There's another tab under there which you can't really see, but you'll see it. Oh no, sorry, both tabs are visible right there. And then once you get that wire out of the way, you'll remove this 1 screw here. Again, it's probably the Torx T10 on most units. At that point, you can carefully lift up the hard drive, which is attached to a metal bracket. And you will see it is attached to 1 big cable. Kind of work that cable out of there. All right, we have the hard drive out. We're going to flip the hard drive over. We need to remove the bracket from the drive. These 4 screws, again, are Torx T10, so the larger of those 2 screwdrivers. All right, Those 4 screws will not be reused because those 4 screws held this hard drive onto the bracket. So those and that hard drive are not going to go back inside. We do like to reuse the bracket because the bracket is a good way to anchor down the cable we're about to install. Alright, as a point of reference here, you see the white wire under the bracket. That white wire is basically the same white wire that was going across the hard drive in the white model. So in a white model it goes on top, on a black one it goes below. Just be careful of that if you have a white unit because you will need to drape it somewhere when you put the bracket back in. Alright, we're going to screw that one screw back in. So the hard drive is now, the hard drive bracket is now reattached to the base. At this point, we're going to use our WeaKnees custom SATA cable. And first we'll connect the large end of the connector onto that connector we disconnected from the hard drive. Only goes in one way, should be a very secure fit. And then you should have 2 zip ties that came with the unit. That came with the upgrade kit. So we're going to wrap one of these zip ties around very carefully to get the narrowest part of the connection there. We're going to hold these 2 cables connected with that zip tie. It's just long enough to get on there and catch. Okay. We're going to clip the end off of this thing with our needle nose pliers. You don't really need to clip the end off, but if you want to for cleanliness, great. Then the next step is for us to secure the cable down to that hard drive bracket. So it is a long cable, and we'd like to wrap it up and have most of it inside the unit. If you wanted a little length outside the unit and didn't want to use the extension cable outside the unit, you could leave some more of this outside. Once you've got that cable coiled nicely, go ahead and take that remaining zip tie and poke it on through the middle of your coil, and then under that hard drive bracket it should poke out the front there, and go ahead and cinch that down. And if you want to trim that tip off, that's never a bad move, so we're using the cutter in our needle nose pliers. Alright, so you've got that cable secured nicely down there. Then we'll take the large lid, we'll make sure we poke the new cable through that lid, so only that one big hole on there. Go ahead and get the lid in place. Make sure that all the pieces on the edge, there are a couple of antenna components on this side, and there's one over by the fan also. Make sure those are all inside nicely. And go ahead and snap the lid back on. Okay, once all the different corners of that are down, we'll go ahead and take those 3 screws that we removed earlier from our board over here, the front, middle, and back of the fan, and screw those back in. Alright, next we will put the new component on that we have here, which is basically that new side panel. Obviously you need to slip the tip of that connector through the hole in the panel. Go ahead and snap that thing on. There you go. Snaps on nicely. Okay, then we've got some more screws to put back in. We'll do the HDMI screw, which was that smaller one. That was the T8. And then we have the 2 screws that go where the cable card door came out. So we've got those 2 screws over here. And we'll put those back in. Then you can go ahead and reinstall your cable card door. All set there. And basically your unit's all set. At this point, it's all external connections. We'll take that new WeaKnees external hard drive, plug the eSATA cable into it, and you're pretty well set. If you wanted to, you could be using the eSATA extension cable, which is included with the kit, to move your external drive a bit further away from the TiVo if you'd like. So basically that's just an extender cable. It's got a male end and a female end. Plug one end in like that, plug the other end in like this, and you can move the external further from your TiVo should you want to for noise reasons or for just fitting it into your entertainment system. The key here is turn on the external first. We don't have power to the unit, but theoretically you would get a blue light on the front. Then go ahead and power up the Bolt, and you should be all set. All right, thanks very much for watching.